In building relationships, a lot of us get burnt along the line because we do not do certain things that would help protect our hearts or protect us when we get disappointed. There are a couple of things that I believe that as we build friendships or we build relationships, we need to put them in mind, and it will help us to improve in the way we respond to disappointment or we respond to heartbreaks. One of the things that you must understand about the human heart is that the human heart can be desperately wicked. Because we are humans, we have flaws. And because we have flaws, there is a potential or there is a tendency that people will hurt you. There's a tendency that people will disappoint you. And in some cases, there's a tendency that people will go the extra mile to hurt you. And that is why it's important to understand that the human heart can be desperately wicked. Another thing that you must consider is that you must not expect too much from people. This is one of the problems that a lot of people have. We expect too much from people, and because we have too high an expectation from people, we get disappointed when these people act differently from our expectations. So in building relationships, ensure that your expectations about people are not way up there that they can't even meet. And also, it's important to understand that you must learn to study the people you are in relationship with. Learn to study the people you are in a relationship with. Because if you are able to study people, you will know their tendencies, you will know their weaknesses, you will know their flaws, you will know the things that they are capable of doing. Because when you know the things people are capable of doing, you have studied them, it's easier for you to manage your expectations, because you know that if this person, for instance, is always angry and breaks things and insults everyone when they are angry, you expect that from them. You know that you will not be surprised or taken aback when they show this side of them. You studied them, you already know them. And so it helps you to deal with your expectations, and it also helps you to not get burnt anytime they act that way. You already know that, this is who they are. And it's also important for you to categorize your friendships, categorize your relationships. A lot of us do not categorize our relationships. We do not categorize our friendships. And because we do not categorize our relationship or friendships, one thing it does is that we group everyone into our inner circle, for instance, or we group everyone into our best friends. And because you group people like that, the day or the times that they don't act like, that group that you've categorized them into, then you have issues. So there are people who are very close friends. They are your inner circles. There are people who are close friends. There are people who are just colleagues. There are people who are just acquaintances, So if, because of the fact that you always work closely with someone, and then you categorize them, or you think in your head that this person is a close friend, and you begin to share certain secrets that you're not supposed to share with them, one day they probably will use it against you, especially if that colleague is a competitive person and that person works in the same environment with you and wants to climb high the ladder of success. And so they may use what you've told them against you. So it's important to understand that you need to categorize your relationships. You need to categorize your friendships, because they define how much investment of time, how much investment of emotion, how much investment of even your finances that you put into that relationship. Consider people who consider you. Consider people who value you. Consider people who take you special, because these are the people that you also need to invest yourself, invest your emotions, invest your time into. And those who are just acquaintances, keep them as acquaintances. So as you categorize your relationships, categorize your friendships, it helps you to define how to make use of your time effectively and the type of relationships that you need to build intentionally. And then another thing is that we forget that people who hurt us hardly change. So you get to you get to get hurt by someone and the person asks for forgiveness and you forgive them and you still keep them in your inner circle. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't bring back people who have hurt you into your inner circle or close to your heart, but let them earn it. Let them show that they've changed. Because a lot of times people just hurt you and say they are sorry, but they've not changed. Okay, so you forgive them, you let them back in, and they hurt you all over again because they've not changed. So it's important to understand something. People who hurt you, especially when you understand that this is their character or this is their way of life, when they hurt you, they don't change most of the times. It takes a lot of time for people to change. And so it's important not to get hurt again. Guard your heart, guard yourself, guard the relationship, and ensure that even if you're forgiving them, you are able to place them in a place where they can't hurt you anymore. And so if you're convinced over a period of time that they have changed, then it's okay to want to bring them back into your life. Now, I'm going to round up with this. It's important to categorize your friendships. It's important to categorize your relationships. Let me give a practical example about this. I've gotten disappointed by certain people because I dealt with them in certain areas of their weaknesses. I dealt with them in certain areas of their weaknesses. And so what I have learned to do is that I've learned to study people. I've learned to understand their strengths, their weaknesses, their tendencies, and I've also learned to know how to categorize them, how to place them in my life, as well as how to relate with them. Now, there are friends in your life that you shouldn't do business with. There are friends in your life that you shouldn't do business with. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how close you guys are. You know that if you do business with them, that's the end of that relationship. Don't try it. There are friends that if you lend them money, that's the end of that relationship, or you let that money go because they're not going to pay you back that money, and except you want to fight them. So when you understand that there are friends like that, when it comes to money, you can't deal with them, then don't deal with them in that area of their weakness. Deal with them in areas of their strength, but don't engage them in areas of their weakness. If you know that this guy, if you leave your sister with him, he's going to try to sleep with your sister, he's going to try to, take advantage of her, stay away, or get your sister not to ever go close to that person. There are people that you trust, you know that, okay, my sister is going to this state and this guy is going to be there. I can hand you over to him because I know that he's going to take care of my sister, he's going to protect her and all of that. But if you have that type of friend that you know that this person, all he wants to do is to sleep with any girl, you know that you cannot deal with them in that area. You cannot trust them. So study your friends. Know their capacities, know their tendencies, know their strengths, know their weaknesses. If there is a friend of yours, you know that their problem or their weakness is inability to keep secrets. You can't in any way try to share certain deep things with them because within 1 week, someone else must have heard it. So stop sharing whatever it is that you have as secrets to this type of people. So it's important to categorize your friends. Understand those who are inner circle, understand those who are outer court or outer circle, or just friends or acquaintances and all of that. Understand those who are colleagues. Categorize them, study them to know their strengths, to know their weaknesses, so you can know the areas at which you can relate with them. And also understand that you need to manage your expectations. Try as much as you can to manage your expectations and understand something. Because we are humans, there's a tendency for people to be wicked. There's a tendency for people to get jealous. There's a tendency for people to act out of the ordinary. So don't get surprised by the actions of certain people, even if you've brought them close and even if you think they're your friends. A lot of people will disappoint you. I have disappointed people myself, So that's why sometimes people would say, don't use me as a role model. I've disappointed people sometimes, And so we all have that tendency to probably disappoint one way or the other. So it's important to understand that it's not just about perfection for anyone. It's just the fact that this is life. We are all humans, we have flaws, and we may intentionally or unintentionally hurt other people or do things that would make people feel like I expected better from you. So understand humanity, understand humans, understand the tendencies of the average human being, because it is going to help you a lot. It is going to help you manage your expectations, and also understand something, that it's not everybody you forgive that you allow into your inner circle. It's not everybody you forgive that you allow into your inner circle. Some people do not change, and if they have lived 30 years of their lives the way they are and they hurt your feeling, don't expect them to change within that 1 week they've come to say, to ask for forgiveness. Yes, you can forgive. Yes, you can reconcile the relationship, but ensure that you are able to categorize them in a place where they can't hurt you anymore, just in case they've not changed. But then, of course, over a period, you will understand and see that they've changed. And if they have, truthfully, then you can decide to bring them back into your life the way they used to be. But it is important to understand something. People hardly change. And so be careful with how you deal with people so you don't get burnt over and over again. So these are the 5 things and some of the other points that I've just decided to share with you in terms of ensuring that you build healthy relationships. And as you're building healthy relationships, you're also protecting yourself, because these are some of the effective ways of relating with people. These are the effective ways of building relationships that will not get you burned over and over again. I hope this helps. Take care of yourselves, guys, and receive sense.